G'day and welcome to the Dusty Boots podcast. This is another special episode. Probably a little bit more special because we've never had an artist from Ballarat come in. So welcome in, Lewis Love.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Anytime. We just had a bit of a chat and we sort of said that we've never really had a big artist that's going to be playing at something like Riding Hearts ever live in Ballarat. So the next biggest thing, mate, hopefully.
Hopefully, mate. Yeah, just getting started, but keen to see where it takes me. So
yeah, and I just sort of it was funny because I said to Bill, I was like, we've got an actual artist that isn't Bill because everyone knows Bottle Bill off TikTok from Ballarat, and then now you're Lewis Love. Technically, you can say Lewis Love on TikTok from Ballarat. So
I can't say that now.
You're a man that probably flies under the radar with social media and that. It's always funny. I sort of said to you before when we seen that you got put on the Riding Hearts lineup. It was Lewis Love from Ballarat, and there was just no details. That was it. So for a young artist up and coming like that, we love that approach of not knowing much about you. And probably over the next however long we sit here for, it's going to be really good to be able to us to get to know you, but then probably people outside to get to know you. Because as you sort of said before, you haven't really done too much media.
Yeah, 100%. Like, this is my first podcast appearance, and I've done 2 interviews with Megan from Country Town.
Yep.
Which have been great, but yeah, literally haven't covered much media at all.
Yep.
And I suppose fly under the radar a bit, mainly because I'm just so new to it.
Yeah.
So it's just getting started.
I think with that, obviously the biggest artist around, you talk about, let's say Riding Hearts, like Riley Green and all that last year. We've seen all them and everyone knows everything about them because they've been an artist for so long. Yeah. Because as you said, you're a new artist. People know bits and pieces about you, but not that much. So I think this is a perfect opportunity, probably before Riding Hearts, that fans will probably be able to go, all right, listen to him on this. Let's see what he's actually about and then learn a little bit more about you, not just your music. Because your music is talking at the moment and it's killing it. So we love it. What we might do is we'll sort of talk about your life from a young age to start with. So Ballarat, did you grow up in Ballarat or where did you sort of...
So I was born in Melbourne.
Yep.
Born in Sandringham Hospital.
Yep.
And then when I was 5 years old, I moved to Ballarat. So halfway through prep.
Yeah.
Parents were, looking for a bit of a cheaper option than Melbourne.
Yep.
And so came to the Rat real young.
Yep.
And then went to school here. So I pretty much say raised in Ballarat, grew up in Ballarat. But first 5 years in Melbourne.
Yeah. How did you find sort of growing up in Ballarat? It's a cold shit of a joint, we always say.
Yeah.
So how did you find them younger years down here? Do you remember much about them?
I just remember 5 to 12 I really enjoyed, I think, because when you're that young, you got your family real tight. You're a bit oblivious to everything, like the fire and I just remember really cold winters, getting cozied up, and primary school, you can't really have too many problems back then.
Yeah, definitely not. Life's pretty easy when you're younger, I think. Do you have siblings?
Yeah, 2 older sisters.
Yep.
So I grew up with them, and then my mum and my dad.
Yep.
But then I suppose after 12, kind of coming into teen years in Ballarat, it sort of became a bit more of a I don't really like it here.
Yeah.
Especially artistically.
Yep.
When you don't have too much going on here. I mean, I know there's little things brewing.
Yep.
But I think it can be a hard place for an artist to thrive just with,
Definitely.
Even just the lack of size.
Yeah.
And, it's grown even since, 3 years ago. But I think definitely, growing up in Ballarat has its challenges.
Yeah, and I do agree with that because we sort of had a chat before about what are your biggest artists. I look at Brisbane has been a very big area of where country music artists come from and probably just generalised artists up that coast there and then sort of down to Sydney and that. And I know there's a lot of artists that come out at Newcastle because we had this real weird situation where we're doing interviews and interview after interview, they're like, where are you from? And they're like, Newcastle. We're like, what's in the water in Newcastle? So I find Victoria always sort of gets left out a little bit. And look, there's probably been some really good artists over the time. I haven't done my research that have come out of Victoria as such, but as you say, Ballarat opportunities, live music venues, all that sort of stuff, we don't really have that much.
Yeah, not really. And I think, I don't know if this would have anything to do with it, but I feel like Ballarat as well is a really sporting,
definitely
heavy place. And Melbourne as well. Victoria in general, massive footy culture. And I'm a big footy fan.
Yep.
Go Dogs. But I feel like that may take away a little bit from the creative aspect. I don't know. Melbourne is super artsy now, though.
Yeah.
So maybe that's just not true, but maybe...
Yeah, maybe it could be what it is to do. So, obviously, sport then, did you play footy in that when you were younger?
I never grew up playing footy. I grew up playing soccer.
Oh, yeah?
Because my mum's from Argentina.
Oh, there you go.
And so that's obviously a religion over there.
Yep.
So I grew up with a soccer ball at my feet.
Yeah.
And I played my whole life. And then, sort of 16, 17, I was starting to play a bit of a higher level, and I was kind of like, this music thing, since I was maybe 12, I'm like, yeah, I really want to do this. And it started to get to a point, well, if I want to keep trying to pursue soccer and really go for it, I'm not going to have time for the two.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I love my sports, but I don't think really going hard at that, and pursuing that was in the end what I wanted to do.
Yeah,
Who knows if I could have done it, but at least trying.
I find that pretty funny because we spoke to Kaylee Bell. She's from New Zealand at CMC.
Yeah.
And she said to us about how if she wasn't doing music, she'd be a basketballer.
Yeah.
And she was a really, really good basketballer and that sort of thing. But then she hit the split in the road and went, okay, we'll go that way. And you hear it so many times. I've heard stories of like Robbie Mortimer. He played rugby. And then all of a sudden now he's like doing music. Like it's so funny, the road split and like that decision.
So. And like a lot of Americans say like, oh, he was rapping or going to the league.
Like,
and I feel like when I got to that crossroads, 16, 17, I kind of settled on the fact that music is really what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then from there, I pretty much dropped everything. I left school. I'd stopped playing sport. Like
committed to it.
Completely sacrificed everything.
Yep.
For music.
When you were younger, was music, your parents, were they right into music as you sort of grew up in that?
They were right into listening to music.
Yep.
My parents never played music. My dad can sing.
Yep.
He's not trained or anything, but he's got a bit of a voice on him.
Yep.
But mainly like on my dad's side, there were a lot of like a few professional like flute players, piano players, that kind of thing, like going up into the lineage. But it was never like no one in my sisters and I grew up. So my sister plays flute. My other sister plays piano and I played guitar.
Yeah.
And I think the main influence there was growing up listening to music.
Yeah.
Like we had this really nice stereo, couple of big speakers and one of those CD players. We did like the 8 rotating.
Oh yeah.
And you click the number.
They used to go in like, remember when they used to have them in the back of cars? And
yes,
you used to put the 8 CDs in the back of the car and they'd go through. I know exactly.
So we had one and it like comes out and rotates.
Yeah.
And that was like what I grew up on.
Yeah.
I think like Guns N' Roses
and
Queen. That's kind of the two like really early childhood. And then, Mum put me onto Tracy Chapman in the car and like all these kind of early influences, even Kenny Rogers, like I think really shaped into it. But it's not like, I didn't really come from a musical family, I wouldn't say. Like, but we all love music.
Did you pick the instrument, like obviously you're guitar and you're the trio of your sisters. Did you pick that up outside of school or was that something you did at school?
Initially it was outside of school.
Yep.
I don't actually remember how I decided or it came about, but I would have been about 5 and I started doing some guitar lessons just at some bloke's house. Dad would take me every week.
$5 a week
yeah,
probably.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And then from there, I don't know, I think I started writing songs at home.
Yeah.
I was a really shy kid.
Yeah.
Like, I never told anyone I was writing songs. And like, 5 to 12, I'd just kind of hole up in my bedroom and just play and write songs. And Mum and Dad would be like, come for dinner. Like, what are you doing? I'd be like, oh, nothing. Like, I just didn't really tell anyone.
Yep. And what school did you go to in Ballarat?
So I went to Grammar.
Ballarat Grammar. Yeah. So did you do music at Grammar?
I studied sound production there.
Oh, yeah.
And I had guitar lessons there.
Yeah.
But I kind of, even, during school was really shy. Like, I never played at assembly. Yeah. I never did any of that stuff because I think, I don't know, maybe I just didn't, just really shy as a younger kid. And then, into my later teens, I sort of found my voice a little and confidence.
Yeah.
But I've never even... played at a school assembly.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, I love that. So like with your siblings and that, like obviously they were right into music as well. So have they pursued it as much as you sort of thing, or they sort of dropped off and then you've sort of taken off now?
Yeah, they didn't pursue it.
Yep.
They both went to uni for other things.
Yep.
And they did like the levels of instruments or whatever. Like they both got to a high level.
Yep.
In their respective instruments, like classically trained.
Yeah.
And they were playing in like, I think one of my sisters played in like the Ballarat Symphony Orchestra.
Oh yeah.
But beyond that, like they never wanted it as a career. I think it was just a hobby.
Yeah. And did you always did you see this becoming a career? Obviously, when you're 5 and that, and you're just playing the guitar for fun, and as you said, that probably from when you're born to 12 years old, there's not a worry in the world. You don't know about anything. Yeah. It's just you go about your daily life. You're so happy. You see your friends at school. It's so good. Was it at that point commonly people would say like, oh, I want to be a fireman or I want to be a builder sort of thing. And like, I know when I was younger, I was like, always wanted to be a builder. And now I'm a builder. Like, that's always what I wanted to do. I never said I wanted to have a podcast because I don't think podcasts are around then. Yeah. Was that something at a young age you always wanted to do as a job?
I think it was always in my mind.
Yeah.
I think from like the really young age, like 5, I would always, the thing is I was really shy outside of the home, but in the home I was completely opposite. So like there's a home video of me like sitting or standing on top of a table, like pretending to be a rock star and, like I would do all that shit at home.
Yeah.
And then I remember I was 12 years old or 11 or 12 in the back of mum's car. I was listening to a song. Can't remember what song, but I would always have my headphones in as a kid. Still do, really.
Did you have iPod or a Discman?
I had an iPod.
iPod,
Fancy.
Yeah.
And I was 12. I listened to a song, and when a song gives you goosebumps, and I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Yeah. So that was the defining moment at about 12.
Yep, definitely. So then as school so when did you leave school, did you say?
Well, I left when I was 16, so I left the start of year 11. I did like one term of year 11.
Yeah. So did you just think school's not for me and I'm committing to this cause in your head?
Yeah, I think... Yeah, I felt a bit trapped at school. Like, I mean, grammar was a great school, and I'm super grateful for my time there. The teachers were amazing. I just think it was just me. Like, I felt, I don't know, that I just, obviously I wanted to do this music thing, and I felt like, the way my brain works is I need to just be where I need to be, and I felt like being in a class, like I would just make beats or write songs in the back of class. I'm like, why am I really here?
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, And sometimes I think, I missed out on the year 12 experience and maybe I missed out on a bit, but I don't really regret it. Like, I think that was the moment where I was like, I just need to spend all my time on music and that's what I did.
And especially too now you're at a young age where you're 19, like you've technically just finished school, like pretty much if you were set of that
I would
thing.
be like second year uni, I think.
And if I look at it as people always go to uni and, they leave school, go to uni, and they do like 1 year at uni, and then they go, oh, this isn't what I really want to do. Then they change up or whatever.
Yeah.
I left school at 15 and went and become a chippy. I left, and then now I always think like by the time people have finished school, I was like pretty much done my apprenticeship and like I was ahead. Do you feel like now in where you're sort of sitting now that leaving early has helped you?
I do definitely think that, because if I had stayed for year 12, even done a year or two of uni, I could just be getting started.
Yeah.
And only now, after leaving at 16, I'm 19. First song came out, 6 months ago or less, 4 months ago.
Yeah.
And, if I was 2-3 years further behind, who knows how long it could have taken me.
With like when you left and that, your parents and that, was it a decision like you sort of said to your parents, like, I'm done? Or were you like went home and said to your parents, oh, I've quit school and I'm doing this music thing?
Yeah, they weren't happy. My parents were quite studious, quite academic people, and obviously they sent me to a private school. And we didn't grow up super wealthy, but they just they just spent all their money on private school because they just really believed in it. And I think that a lot of good came from it, you know, but I just said to them, look, I'm just not doing this. And they were like, get fucked. Like, you'll do year 12, you go to uni. And it just flipped a switch in me. I was like, no, I think that's kind of when I started my little rebellious teen phase.
Yeah.
And, I went to the office and I unenrolled myself.
Yeah.
So, then they were like, oh, well, you can't really without your parents. And then I kind of was like, okay, well, I just won't show up. Like, I really kicked up a fuss.
Yeah.
And then after a while, mum was like, okay, but you have to do a course. You have to do something.
Yep.
I was like, okay. So I did a music course, a sound production course at RMIT.
Yep.
The workload, was a lot less than VCE, and it was like 3 days a week in Melbourne. I met some really cool people, learnt about music, and had a lot more time to focus on my own music.
Yep.
So that worked for me while still getting some like skills under my belt and pleasing the parents. Because, at 16 and I had nothing behind me yet, no recognition, nothing. So they're like, okay, you need to do something.
Yeah.
So I was just working part-time and then studying at RMIT, and then COVID got like, it was like the second wave when it got bad again. Yeah. And then I came back to Ballarat. I did another course here because I was catching the bus, the V-Line bus. The train wasn't running through. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But it was like 3 hours each way. And I was like, it's too much. And I did, obviously back then we didn't know how how long it was going to last or what was happening.
Yeah.
So I was just like, fuck, I can't do it. So I just deferred there and started a course back here, doing screen and media.
Yeah.
Just because I was like, it's the same thing. I'm going to have a lot more time for my music and I can pick up skills, I've got a diploma in screen and media. So, like content and I can work a camera and whatever, which I think is really helpful.
Definitely with what you're doing.
Yeah,
too.
In the content era that we're in. You got to be an influencer as well.
And I had an interview with Travis Collins back a while ago, and he's been an artist for 20 years in the country music scene. And he said he's had to grow with the times doing this content thing, but he knows nothing about it because he never grew up. And then you talk to younger people, like Cooper Allen's a really good example of how much he blew up over TikTok. And then now where he is at the age where he probably knew his way around a camera, new content, all that sort of stuff, and bang, he was off. Whereas someone like Travis Collins, if he had all the media and the content back in his day, he would have blew up just as much as people are blowing up now.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think too, like people talk about back them days, it was like learning and all that, and then you had to win your way, you had to sing at pubs and all that sort of stuff. With TikTok and that, as we'll probably get into soon, you can blow up overnight. Literally,
you can.
Yeah,
and it's almost like a bit of a fast track pass.
Yeah,
and that kind of happened to me with I'm sort of trying to catch up with myself a bit now.
Yep.
Because, with all the TikTok success and then Can't See the Sky doing really well and then, that's got me writing hearts and all these opportunities.
Yep.
And I'm like, fuck, I haven't really even done a pub gig.
Yeah.
So I signed recently with LLA, booking agent, great.
Yeah,
I
was going to get to that. So that would have been pretty... So that was a part of... Before we maybe get into that, did you say you had a part-time job?
I used to, yeah. Do you want to talk about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, what did you do there?
Well, I had heaps of jobs, man.
Oh, yeah?
My first job, I was like 13.
Yep.
Worked at... My grandma owned Napoleon's General Store.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so...
Probably would have been serving me back in the day.
Probably.
Come in, get an ice cream.
Yeah. So that was a cool place, and cool working for the family.
Yeah.
After that, I did so many things. I was a pizza boy at Eureka Pizza.
Yeah.
That
used to be my favourite joint. Probably made a few pizzas in time.
Yeah, probably did. Good. Mate, I've been serving
I
you
used to
for
always get
years
food
now.
poisoning.
So I worked there. I worked at Freshly Battered Fish and Chips.
Oh, yeah?
I was like a painter, like a labourer painter.
Oh, yeah?
For my neighbour. He had a painting company.
How'd that go?
It was fun, because it was... I could just listen to music, and obviously I'm just obsessed with music all day. I'm listening to it.
Yeah.
So I could just put my AirPods in and just paint. So I didn't mind it. We just did like schools, the hospital, that like commercial stuff.
Yeah.
Which is just real repetitive.
Yeah.
I was good, get the hands dirty and kind of a bit of physical work. And then, what else did I do? I worked at the Eureka Centre, like the museum where they have the flag.
Oh, yeah.
Like I've had like 8 jobs or something.
Have you liked any of them, or music is just like, you're like, this is
every job I'm like, fuck, I'm just doing this until music. I found it motivation. Because every time I show up, I'm like, I need to make it. Otherwise I'm going to be doing this shit for too long.
Yeah.
So I think it helped. But, I think it's good to sort of work shitty jobs, and it's part of growing up.
I think so many people's stories, you talk about their shitty jobs that they used to work, and then you're like, and now you're where you are because you just had to grind and grind and grind.
Sometimes you just do.
Yeah. And like, obviously you're just music's full time now. So at that point, I believe you sold your car. Was that?
Yes.
So was that 18 when you were 18?
I was 18.
This before it all blew up?
Kinda.
Yeah.
Not really. So last March, it was March 24. I posted TikTok singing a song Felicity.
Yep.
And I thought nothing of that TikTok really. When I wrote the song, that was kind of my first singer-songwriter because I used to rap. I don't know, have I?
Yeah, we should get into that too because I did read about that. So
maybe we should start there.
So was rapping come well before? So did you always want to be country music, or what sort of scene did you want to roll into?
Well, I always wanted to be the thing that was consistent. I tried every genre, but the thing that was consistent was I want to sell out arenas.
Yep.
I was like, I just want to be a rock star.
That's the goal.
And I grew up listening to Guns N' Roses and Queen, but I also grew up listening to Eminem, Biggie, Tupac, and I grew up on like old school rap.
Yeah.
So, and then a lot of the Aussie boys like Bliss and SO and 60 Cursor. So from there, I started rapping a bit. I was dropping some songs on SoundCloud. I tried a bit of like melodic stuff, bit of like proper Aussie rap.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of finding my sound, and I knew what I wanted to do, but I never knew kind of exactly how I was going to get there.
Yep.
And then I started getting a bit of traction. The very first like blow up I had was with my rapping. And it wasn't anything crazy, like maybe a couple 100K views on TikTok for a song.
But that still would have blew your mind at the time.
Yeah, at the time. And I was 17 or 16.
Yeah.
And it was a song about suicide awareness. This was a time in Ballarat where I think 8 or 9 kids had taken their life within the span of 6 months.
Yeah.
I don't know if you, like, it was a horrid time.
Definitely. Was that something close to you? Did you lose a mate in that time, or was it just something you've seen?
These were... One was a mate, and the rest were just people I knew of. Or, you know, you see them at parties, but not close friends.
Yeah.
But it still, you know, obviously struck the community heavily.
Yeah.
And I feel like there was kind of a dark,
you
know, like a heavy
cloud over
the town for a while.
Yeah.
And that kind of motivated me to be like, fuck, I should try and weave this into the music.
Yeah.
So I wrote a song. I recorded. I put a snippet on TikTok. I was like, you know, I'm just trying to wrap my way out of a trade job because I was working the painting job. I was in my high vis and everything. And it did well. So I was like, oh, I'll post another one. And then, you know, did more again. And then it ended up streaming pretty well. And then from there, like, you know, I kind of got launched into the Aussie rap scene. And started hanging out with, like, you know, some Aussie rappers. I made a song with, like, I don't know if you know who Lil Snow is. Like, someone listening will. They'll have a laugh. They'll be like, they'll have a laugh out of that because he's like an iconic kind of Aussie rapper.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of making, like, real hard shit.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I was like, fuck, like, this is cool, and I'm getting some traction, you know, like a couple 100,000 streams.
Yeah.
And then I was like, but, you know, I want to sell arenas. And this just isn't going to get me there. You know, if I keep doing this, maybe I can do an Australia tour or something like that. But it's never going to get me, you know, fucking Wembley Stadium.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I need to, you know, try singer-songwriting more. Like, I'd done a little dabble of it. I was genre bending a bit. I was like, fuck the rap for a bit. Let me just try this. And I wrote this song, Felicity. A voice memo. I still have the memo on my phone where I was like, I'd written it, and I just felt like I knew it was special. And in the voicemail, I'm like, fuck, I did it. Like, you can hear me. And I almost start sort of crying.
Yeah.
I sort of get emotional because I'm like, fuck, this is what I've been looking for this whole time.
Yeah,
you know, through the rap and the R&B or whatever. And I was like, yeah, this is it. And so the week after that, I'm going to the studio with a mate, Alex, to record a different song, some like just a pop song, whatever.
Yep.
And at the end, you know, the producer's a really talented guitarist, Dylan G, legend.
Yep.
And I'm like, can we film a TikTok, like 5 minutes, but can you just play the guitar or sing? And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. So I post me singing Felicity. It's like a minute long, whatever. And I don't think much of it. I'm in like Narre Warren at the studio, drive back to Ballarat, and then I open my phone and it's like, oh, this is at 50,000 just on the drive home. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
fuck, it's only like a couple hour drive for people that don't know that.
Like 2.5.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, like, what's happened? I kind of looked at, you know, going through comments. I'm like, okay, this is starting to like do something.
Yeah.
I didn't think like crazy of it. And then I wake up the next day and it's at 100 or something. Ended up on, I think like 300,000. And that's when everything started to change. So like I got a DM from a guy and he's like, hey, we look after such and such and such and such famous artist. And I'm like, fuck, this is like a scam. He's like, do you want to hop on a call? And I'm like, why does he want to call me? So I check out his page and he's like followed by these artists. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
That
like,
makes sense.
It's legit. And I hop on a call. He's showing me like the plaques in the background. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm starting to get somewhere. Then the next day it's like, hi, I'm such and such from Universal, such and such from Sony. I'm like, holy fuck, like, what have I done?
Yeah.
This video somehow had hit the For You page of Americans, and all of these labels from America, like, it was just going around. I don't know if one guy sent it to a group chat full of A&Rs or something.
Yeah.
That's why I say to people, just post, because you don't know. I don't know how it got into their ears, but
the
it
algorithm
did.
Is a wild.
It's a wild place,
it
right?
It is so wild.
So the next week was just calls at like 4 a.m. My girlfriend at the time was like, fuck, like, what are you, like, these are all in the middle of the night. I was just doing them at her house. In like freezing cold, like 4 a.m. Ballarat. And yeah, from there I kind of started to build a network, and that was my first little blow up. And then
How old do you reckon you were when this is about 18 or 17 still?
I was No, I was 18.
18,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was 18. So I still had my car at this point.
Yep.
But as this started to build and I started to talk to these people, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm starting to get somewhere with this music stuff.
Yeah.
I started to build up a network, and eventually these boys from Sydney hit me up. And they were like, we've got a label, we've got a studio, come up to Sydney, we'll fly you up.
Yep.
And you can stay here for a week and do some writing. And like I was like to my parents, like, I'm getting flown out. Like this is crazy. And so I go for a week, and I met Glenn Hopper, crazy producer.
Yeah.
Len 20. And we met and we made Can't See the Sky in 2 hours.
Yep.
Less, an hour and a half. And I didn't even think too much of the song. It was kind of like, because this whole, like all these calls and all this like writing camps or whatever, everyone was just like, let's get a bunch of demos. Everyone was like, okay, you got a little thing on TikTok. I want to see, can you record songs?
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any recorded singing songs.
Yep.
So I go there, and then the first song we did was Can't See the Sky. Then we did a song called My Little Lover, which is on the album.
Yeah.
And I think a couple more that won't see the light of day.
Yeah.
But from that Sydney...
With that, do you think that they won't see the light of day? So I always find this funny with artists. So you didn't think Can't See the Sky was going to go... You probably didn't think it was going to be a hit?
No, not at all.
Did you think it was going to be a big hit, or did you just think, this is all right?
I thought it was all right.
Yeah.
And,
so I find this with like artist songs, they always say the ones that they don't think are the ones that sort of get so big.
Yeah.
So the ones that you sort of think in your head that won't ever see the light of day, do you think that maybe as this progresses through that you might go, hey, I might actually release that song?
Maybe.
Or do you just think they're like dead and done?
No, I think like they're always in the vault.
Yeah.
And I think there's probably one on the album that I was like, I don't think I'm going to put this out. Like it was never really a thought to make the cut. And then I'm at the end, like it's like 40 hours till the deadline. I'm like, bro, we're putting it in.
Yeah.
So I think like you can't really ever write a song off.
Yep.
But these songs, probably won't come out. But
yeah.
So we did, I'd say I got like 3 good songs out of that week.
Yep. And how was that for the whole experience of a bloke that's dropped out of school, that is committing to this cause to sell stadiums, and all of a sudden you're on Zooms at 4 a.m. in the morning to America with artists that you think are a scam, this whole thing, and then you're starting to realize this is reality, this is actually happening. That very first experience of going to do that, were you just like, this is it, I'm heading towards stadium?
That's kind of what it was for me. It was like, obviously I hadn't and still haven't really made it, but that was like my I'm gonna make it moment.
Yeah.
And I mean I suppose it sounds a little cocky, but like the idea of, okay, this is it, like I've got it.
Yeah.
And like, obviously I'm not there yet, but I'm on the way, and I think that was just a special moment because I was like, I've got my foot in the door, and that's the main thing.
Yeah.
And it was just surreal. Like even the past whole year is a blur. Like now I'm sitting here, I'm like, what am I doing? Like,
you feel numb about it. And I think I find that with the podcast too, that when we had opportunities of Riding Heart, CMC and that, when I sit there and it's just silent and the boys might not be in the room, I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah, I'm really doing this.
Yeah, we're here.
You kind of think it's just something someone else will do.
Yeah.
And then it's you and you're like, well, fuck, I'm just a regular person.
Yeah, regular Joe going about
it. Right. So
So from Sydney, you come back?
Yeah, from Sydney I do, the 3 songs. I come back and I send all these demos that I'd made to everyone in America, because I'm starting to talk to all these labels. And they're like, okay, we like these. Let's keep talking. And it kind of was like, I was like, fuck, should I drop Felicity? People are begging me in the comments to drop it.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I maybe want to do like a proper rollout. I don't want to drop one thing and then have nothing else.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, I'll just wait. Like, and a lot of people are still pretty dirty about that. In the comments, they're like, day 25 of asking for Felicity. Like,
did you take that in? Like, did that sort of affect you thinking about like, do I drop it, do I not? Or when you committed to not dropping it and doing the right thing of making more music?
I think I took it in a little at the start, but then I kind of centered myself and I'm like, no, this is what I'm going to do and this is why I'm going to do it. And I think once I had a good reason for myself, I'm like, no, this is fine. Like, I'll do that. Because at the end of the day, like, people were saying, even A&Rs or friends I'd made in America through friends of friends were like, don't let them rush you.
Yeah.
Just like you had one moment, you can have another.
Yeah.
And so, I sort of waited a bit send this off, and I start building a lot of connection in America. And then it gets to a point where I'm like, okay, I think I can get out here.
Yeah,
But I don't have any money.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I was still working like a shitty job.
Yeah, painter, pizza maker.
Yeah, like, you know, 20-something an hour or whatever.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point where I'm like, I think I can get it out there. I've got enough sort of mates and A&R people. I could probably sleep on some couches. I had an auntie that lived in Long Island.
Oh, yeah.
So my grandma, when she came from Argentina with my mum, she came to Australia, and her sister went to America.
Yeah.
So I got a whole branch of people that Pittsburgh and New York.
Yep.
No one in LA, but I was like, you know, if I run out of money, I can scrape together a few $100, go across the country, stay there for a bit, and I don't know, figure something
Really
out.
backpack and figure it out.
Yeah, I was like, at least I have like a fallback in at least, you know, either side of the country, but at least it's something.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck, I'm gonna sell the car because I was like, you know, I've got these A&R connections, I've got producers messaging me, like big producers that want to work. And I'm like, I just need to get out there. I need to meet everyone that I've been talking on the phone to for months.
Yeah.
And I need to, you know, LA, like, have you been?
Haven't been over yet. Yeah. But we're planning on to hopefully get over there next year.
There's like something indescribable about the way that the industry works there. Everyone knows everyone, but it's like everything happens so quickly.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go off on a bit of a tangent. I got a funny
you're
story
right.
if you want to hear it. So I meet this guy who is a producer manager.
Yeah.
And we're mates. We're just kicking it. And he's like, "Do you want to come to dinner? I'm with another mate." And he was eating, you know, a block from where I was staying. I was like, "Yeah, sure." So we go to this nice restaurant or whatever. And his mate and I, like, we're chilling, having a yarn. And he's like, "Yo, we're going back to the house. Do you want to come back and kick it?" I'm like, yeah, for sure. We get in the car. It's like some fucking supercar.
Yeah.
We go up Laurel Canyon or wherever it was, some fancy shit. This is my first week though. I'm just like, and I get there. It's like a 7-story fucking, well, not 7, but like 4 stories.
Like just
each story has a
mansion.
balcony, like G-Wagons in the Porsches in the driveway. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And like I get up to the balcony. I'm just like trying to play it cool. I'm just like, yeah, this is nothing.
You're sweating, your hands are shaking. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
And we're just having a drink, whatever. And he's like, "Oh, my neighbour's wants to come over. He says he's got a new toy, like he wants to show." I'm like, "Oh, okay, whatever." So from the balcony, it was an across the road neighbour.
Yeah.
And from the balcony, I can see this guy like got a flashlight and he's walking. He's got a backpack on his back, but it's this long. And I'm like, "What is that?" Anyway, he comes up to the balcony. We greet everyone. And then he just slams it on the table. He's like, "All right, here's my new toy." He pulls out and it's just this fucking huge machine gun. And I'm like, what the fuck? Huge machine gun. And I'm like, dude, I just landed in America. Obviously, you know, we don't have fucking machine guns here. And I'm like, dude. And I've shot like a 22 once. It's not like, and so he pulls out this big thing and he pulls out the bullets out of his pocket. I'm like, why the fuck do you have the bullets, bro? Like, Jesus. Anyway, he like goes on to explain that he's like a tactical, like, I think his family are all Navy SEALs. And he did something similar back in the day. And yeah, he just pulls it out and he puts it in my hand. He's like, "Yo, you want to hold it?" And I'm just sitting here like 3 days into the trip with this massive machine gun in my hand.
What the fuck
and
is
he's like,
life?
"Yeah, just cock this back. You got this laser sight here, big flashlight." He's like, "Yeah, point it up there." So I'm pointing it into like up into the hills. And he's like, "You can see into that mansion." And he like changes the scope for me and like puts a laser sight on. And I'm just like having this insane tactical weapon. And I'm like, "Bro, like what is going on?" And then he's like,
"Come here to write music."
Yeah, he's like, "Do you want to come to the range tomorrow?" I never met this guy, but he was like, liked me because I was Australian. And he's like, "Oh, you're cool." Like, he's like, "Will you come to the range tomorrow, bro? Like, you can shoot it." I was like, I couldn't because I had like an important meeting or something, and I never saw him again. But that was just the most like surreal. I was like, I'm dreaming. Like,
like slapping yourself. Like,
ridiculous.
what is going on?
Just crazy shit, and like things like that's what I mean about LA.
Yeah,
you go to dinner or something, and then you. In this house, and then everything like happens quickly, and before you know it, you have this kind of network.
Yeah.
And that's everything that like I'm learning. It's everything. You
Yeah.
know, the network is really important.
Networks are so big in everything you do, and we've learnt that as well. We've learned along the way. Like as I said, I'm like you, mate. I was a chippy that left school, and like I'm fully qualified chippy. That's my backup. But when I started this, now I look at it, I'm like connection. Here we are.
Yeah. You sort of build a network.
Yeah.
And but no, so I sold the car and got out there. Obviously that shit happened. I'm sleeping on some homies' couches. And I didn't have a comm sorted, obviously, for the whole time. Like, I just booked I think I got like 5-6 grand for my car, booked the ticket, and I booked it like an adjustable ticket. So it was basically like, I can stay for a maximum of 3 months.
Yep.
And I can come back whenever I want in that time, kind of.
Yeah,
like,
yep.
It was like adjustable with a fee or something.
Yeah, yep.
And so I get out there, I'm meeting producers, and then
Yep.
like we hit it off, and then the next day I'm sleeping on their couch. Like, it was proper like backpacking shit.
Yeah.
I had my mic. I had one of the not one of these, but a similar little mic in my bag, and I'm just recording in hotel rooms. And then from there, like, kept making more demos there. And by the end of the trip, 3 months, and 18, freshly 18, I was like, "Fuck, bro, this is like." This is a lot.
Do you wish you could stay longer?
No, I wanted to come home earlier.
Yeah.
I was like, "Fuck, I almost can't do this." After the second month, because I didn't know anyone there, and obviously, like, I'm making mates with producers, sleep on their couch, but they're not like my true
they're not your real mates
at home.
Your family.
Some of them now are my real mates.
Yep.
But it's different.
Yeah.
And so I was like, fuck, I've been gone for nearly 3 months. I just really want to come home. Like, I'm anxious. I'm stressed.
Yeah.
I'm in a place I don't know anything about. I'm always in meetings, and people always seem to want something from. Like, I was just kind of scared and anxious.
Yeah. And so young.
Yeah, bro. I mean, 18. And I was like, fuck, I need to come home. And by the end of it, I was so surprised, like, how I was so eager to go. And I had so much fun. Life-changing trip.
Yeah.
Grateful. Like, wouldn't change it.
Yep.
But by the end, I was like, yeah, I got to get home. So I come home. And whilst I was over there, I'd met my now manager.
Yep.
And a complete legend.
Yep.
They're unreal. And so, we decided we're going to go independent for the first album.
Yep.
Because, I suppose we didn't need to rush and just want to build it up as much as we can ourselves. And then when, if I want to do arenas, like, a label will come into play for sure.
Yep.
But I guess, we're just waiting to pull the trigger.
Yeah, and, definitely.
But yeah, I come home, and then they're like, okay, make an album, and then we'll put it out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck yeah, because I grew up listening to albums as a kid and loving album artists, and I think TikTok slowly kind of cultivated the death of the album artist.
Definitely.
And so I was like, I kind of want to revert to how it was
back in the day.
And my manager, kind of the top dog of the whole team, his name's Neil Jacobson, and he has unreal experience. Like, I see him as well as like a mentor, because he is really wise, really smart, really successful. Yeah. And I really look up to him. So I think, and his philosophy, he was like, look, expect your first album not to sell, but we're going to put one out and you're going to build up a discography as an artist. Yep. People can look back and be like, okay, this was Lewis Love's first album. It might not be the highest production. It might not be his best, but then 2-3 years later, you've got 3-4 albums. Like, look at how his voice has improved, or the production. And he's like, you build that up. Like, that's how artists should be. Yep. And I was like, fuck, that's so refreshing to hear, because nowadays, management or labels will string you along. It's like, okay, let's do a single, 2 singles, 3 singles. And it's like, fuck, they're not, like, I feel like singles can have a lot less emotion in them when you're making them for the purpose of a single. Yep. If they're singles for an album, I think they have emotion because you're trying to cultivate like a cohesive project. Yeah. So I was really happy to hear that. And so they were like, just go home, make this album, and we'll put it out. And I was like, okay, bet. And all the while, like, I'm posting on TikTok, still trying to get another bit of traction, because I hadn't had it since kind of that first
over that time of when you'd gone to do the album, had you released anything on TikTok of any of them songs? Was that...
A couple, like, I'd teased here and there.
Yeah.
Nothing sort of took off amazingly. Then I come back, and in September I post Can't See the Sky for the first time, last September, and it did like 150K. And I'm like, damn, okay, people like really fuck with this. Yeah. And, I'm kind of thinking, should we put it out? Like, and then my management are like, no, like, get the album first and then we'll put it out. I'm like, oh, I don't want to lose the hype. Like, can we please put it out? Yeah. He's like, no, just trust me. Like, we'll get that moment again, and it's going to be better. And I was like, fuck,
I'm like, believe in myself. This is it.
Yeah, I was like, I really want to, but these guys know this shit. Yeah. So I'm going to trust them. And then I go back to LA this year in February, late Jan. I do another trip. I make some more music, cut some more tunes.
Did you sell your car again?
No. I didn't buy another one when I got back because I had no fucking money. So I I got lucky, actually. My sister moved to London
Yeah.
And she's catching the tube everywhere, leaves her car here.
Nice.
And she's gone for 2 years.
Yep.
So I'm driving around.
Backing
I
up
drove it
K's.
here.
Sorry,
it's this,
sister.
Yeah, sorry, sister. But it's this little MG girly little tiny thing. But dude, it gets me from A to B, and it was free. So, but yeah, the February trip this year, I think it was like a month, and I went, and the second day, I get sick, and I'm like, fuck, like okay, it's fine, a cold, like 3 days, whatever. I was in bed for 3 weeks. Like 90% of the trip, I had to extend it by 2 weeks because I was like, I've just wasted whatever, $6,000 on the trip and all the opportunity. Like I've come here for the sole purpose of singing, and the only thing I can't do is sing. Like I would try to talk and it'd be like, fully lost it, like completely. And I'm like, fuck, I was so depressed about it. But it was okay because I was like, okay, all good, I'll extend, stay calm. And I ended up getting only 2 songs out of the trip. But the thing that I am like, okay, this was meant to happen is because in the airport on the way home, I was really down on myself. But I'm like, fuck, I'm going to try and keep promoting Can't See the Sky. It's had a couple little moments. And I posted I had a studio session. And at the end of the session, I posted it as he was doing the mix or whatever. And I'm just chilling on the couch. And then I get in an Uber to the airport. I was going straight from the session to the airport to go home. And it's like an hour or 2 hours because LA's traffic is fucked at that time, especially it was like the evening.
Worse than Melbourne?
Way worse, bro.
So
Take
bad.
you like half an hour for like 5Ks, 4Ks, 3Ks. Ridiculous, bro. And it's like 7 lanes. LA traffic is fucking brutal. I wouldn't even buy a car over there. I'd just like, but you can't. Public transport's fuck. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked.
No,
so I get to the airport, and once I arrive at the airport, I check in. You know, I'm not on my phone because I'm doing all this bullshit, customs and stuff, waiting in line. And I get to the lounge, and I think I'd run out of data because that shit was expensive. So I get on the airport free Wi-Fi, and then I look at my phone. I'm like, fuck, it's at 80,000 just from the Uber. And I was like, no way, like it's happening again.
This is like the Narrawarren drive home.
But this time it was bigger, you know, because it was like, I don't know, the drive, I don't know what I said before, 50 or something. Like it was a little bit, this time it was a bigger jump in a shorter time. I was like, oh shit, like, okay. And then I go get some food in the airport because I got there pretty early because I went straight from the session. And you know, I get some food, and then afterwards I'm like, oh shit, it's at 100,000, right? And this is in like 3 hours. I'm like, this is the one. Like, I'm like, I finally got the big video. And before I take off on the plane, it's at 200,000.
How long do you reckon this is after that you've put it up? Like you hit
4 hours.
Yeah, right. Yeah. This is like 50,000 an hour going up.
I was refreshing it.
It's like Bitcoin.
But it was fucked. Like I refresh it, I get 10 new followers every refresh. Like 100 likes every refresh. I was like, this is fucked. And I get on the plane, and then I was kind of like, because I buy Wi-Fi on the plane because I'm like, fuck, I can't be disconnected for this long, bro. Like I need to know. So I buy it. By the time I landed, 17-hour flight, it was at 600,000 or 700,000.
Holy shit.
By the time I landed, I was like, guys, I fucking did it. I came home. And I was like, Mum, Dad, friends, look.
Mum and Dad probably would have been like, what is it?
Yeah, they were like, you know, and this was, I posted it 20 hours ago. By the time I drove back to Ballarat, it's less than a day. It's coming up on 1 million. And I'm like, fuck. I called my manager when I got off the plane. I'm like, I think we got it. He's like, you better fucking finish this album quick because now we have to put it out. Because when you get a video that big, you can't ignore it. Like when it was 100K, 200K, it's like, okay, we'll keep pushing for a
It might be 5, let's just say there's 5 comments on that saying you should release it. And it's like, oh, you can dust them to the side. But when you have that, you might have
this is like
4,000 comments. This is like
4,000 comments, 20,000 favorites, 100-something thousand likes. And I'm like, fuck, like we have to. So he's like, wrap it up, bro. We're putting it out. So he said, we'll do a single a month and the album in the 3rd month. And I was like, okay, we'll do it. So from then I was like, okay, I'm going to scrape everything together that I have. The album's short. Truthfully, it is short because you can't see the sky. We have to put it out and we're going to do it all out. So the album is 8 songs. I think it's like 25 minutes of music. And, you know, a little bit of me was disappointed that it was short, but I was like, no, it's like probably meant to be like that. The next one can be longer.
Learn from it.
Yeah, learn from it and just take it, on the chin, I guess. And
Yeah.
so we put Can't See This Guy out, and then, massive like playlist support. I was so surprised because we got like Fresh Country and a bunch of big
Yeah, I did say that because you got Fresh Country, Chilled Country, and what was the other one?
Heaps Country.
Yeah,
like,
Heaps Country.
Fresh Finds. Like there's
Yep.
I think we got like 10 playlists,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
editorial. And my manager said, I don't know fucking whose dick is being sucked.
Yeah.
But someone's looking after
Yeah,
you because
yeah.
he was like, this is unheard of for someone's first release.
This is ticking boxes. And the thing is that I absolutely love about this, we'll go back to your grandma when you were
Yes.
in the car and you did that TikTok with her.
Yes.
That was amazing.
You loved it?
I never grew up with grandparents. My grandparents died when I was very young.
Okay.
And when I seen that, I was like, this is so good. Because
Yeah.
she was like, what is this?
Yeah.
And then she's like, she clicks and she's like, this is you.
Yeah.
So was this after it had blown up the TikTok thing before you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's my biggest fan.
Yeah.
She comments, she downloaded TikTok, made an account just for me, and she puts a love heart on every video.
I love that.
She'll say, because I don't think she realizes I can see it's her account.
Yep.
So after every message, she'll say, from grandma.
Yeah, yeah.
On the public comment. I'm like, oh, so cute. But she is my biggest fan. Every day she calls me or texts me.
Yeah.
And she's like, any news on the music? Can you send me
Love
more
that.
music?
Yeah.
And I'm always there, for dinner and everything. And, I'm really close with my grandparents because my great grandma's still alive. So her
Yep.
mum,
Holy.
she's 94, doesn't
Yeah.
speak a lick of English. And she's getting old. Her mind's like going a little, but she's still kicking it.
That's
so
amazing.
I love to go over there. Especially I've been trying to I grew up speaking Spanish.
Yep.
But I'm trying to really get proper good at it.
Yep.
Because I wouldn't say I'm fluent.
Yeah, yeah.
And I grew up speaking it at home.
Yep.
And I could get by, but I want to get proper good. So I've been going there a lot too because we just talk Spanish.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, biggest fan.
I love that.
And she comments on everything, and I show her
So
all my
much
music.
love.
So much love.
So you release that song, and when you go to release that song, it obviously got to the time where you're like, can't see the sky, like I'm doing this, like this is coming out. Do you remember the build up to it? Was there an expectation when you released it? Were you like, this is going to go big straight away, or were you just sort of like, I'm just going to see how this goes?
I actually had no idea.
Yeah.
I was texting my manager. I was like, dude, how is this going to stream? He's like, I don't fucking know. Who knows? But I was like begging someone for an answer. I was texting all my industry friends. I'm like, oh, I've got this many views on TikTok and this many pre-saves. Like, what do you think it's going to do? And everyone's like, dude, I don't fucking know. But I really wanted to know. I was nervous.
And this is the whole wanting to know. It's like you buying Wi-Fi on the plane.
Yeah,
you want to know how many views you got.
Right? Like, it's so
how many
exciting.
times on the plane were you like re-scroll like
The whole flight. I didn't watch a movie.
this?
Genuinely.
TikTok?
I was sleeping and refreshing TikTok. That's it.
Wow.
For 17 hours. That's all I did.
Buzz.
Genuinely. It was like it was more entertaining than the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the expectation was I was really nervous. And when we put it out, we got this playlist support. I was like wrapped. I was like, yes, like thank you, Spotify, thank you, Apple Music.
Yeah.
And I think it over the week of the build up, it had 3 big videos on it. I think we got like 100,000, 200, and 300,000.
Yep.
Like in a row. And I was like, fuck yeah. Like, because, with the algorithm, you just never really know.
Oh, you
So-
can get 10.
Yeah, bro. Like, and since those videos, I haven't got more than 10,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, like I'm in a bit of a flop era. But like,
Yeah.
it swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, definitely.
But I was nervous. And then, so to see it streaming well
Yeah.
and seeing the monthly listeners like get up there was
Because I think you've
surreal.
nearly got 70,000 monthly listeners now, like,
Yeah.
as we sit. So,
Yeah,
and
I
obvi-
think so. It was up to like 105.
Yeah.
And that was like, I was like, fuck yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I was kind of cut that it went back down.
Yeah.
But obviously, like the album coming out, hopefully it goes.
Yeah, definitely.
But
I think
I'm coming for the million. That's what I
Yeah.
want. A million
So-
monkeys.
Can't See the Sky comes out. How
Yes.
many streams has that had now?
It's just hit over 500,000.
Does that blow your mind as you
Yeah.
sit now?
It does. Like someone texted me because I used to check it every day, the streams, and then because I've been busy with the rollout, I stopped checking it.
Yeah.
And then someone texted me 2 days ago on Instagram, like, congrats on 500K. I was like, fuck, 500K.
Shit.
And I posted on my story, and I'm thinking, yeah, like I did that independent, and it's just surreal. Like
Yeah.
I'm so grateful especially to Australia getting behind me, because I feel like you probably would have discussed it on your podcast, but it's kind of that tall poppy element,
Yeah, definitely.
and like it can happen.
Yeah.
So I think that was nerve wracking.
And I think for us, we haven't really got, we've taken off, but we've never got massive. We've never had this moment, but we've never probably looked for this moment of the million views on TikTok.
Yeah.
We just love what we do.
Yes.
And we love being in here. And if you're loving what you're doing, like you now, if you're loving what you're doing, things will come and they'll build in that. We have had one video that was from like a BNS, which is like country BNS.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing. Like we put it up on the Sunday. We put one video up for the whole. We had no service. Everyone's on their phone. Yeah. It went up at like 10 o'clock. Anyway, the next day, hungover as, get back to Ballarat. Mate's got to drive back to Galgong. He's got 11 hours. All right, unpack the ute. I'm hungover as, have a sleep on the couch, play with the kids, all this sort of stuff. Then that night, my manager's like, oh, can you send me through all the video clips? We'll make a bit of a vlog and that. I was like, no worries. So I finally put my phone back up and I click in and it's had like 800,000 views, this video, from like this Saturday. And I'm like,
you're kidding.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And like we've got 4,000 new followers.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh?
It's the ones you never expect.
Mate, it's a 13-second video.
Yeah.
And it's literally a saying before the two boys drink a shot. And then it's it. And that's it. So small. And like that blew us. And at that point, I never went, when to do more videos than that. I was like, this is starting to work.
Yeah.
Like all this hard work and having fun is
It
actually
pays
starting to pay off and work.
When you do what you love, if you can sort of make a bit of content out of it, it's bound to.
Yeah,
if you're doing the right things.
Yeah.
Like the first viral video I had was nothing to do with music. I was like 16. I bleached my hair and buzzed it.
Did see this.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
With all the boys.
I had a real giggle about it too.
And it was like, he posted it.
Yeah.
And then, it's the same thing. I get home, it's at however many views. I'm like, okay. It blows up, and I didn't think anything. That was a stupid video.
Yeah, and you think that sometimes you're like, oh, it's just a video. But now, like, you're in the music thing, you're like, you probably want them views, you want things to blow up and that. But now it's so hard to make them because the algorithm, you don't know what's going on.
Right. So, I'll put a lot of effort, 10 times more than I did into something that went crazy, and it gets 3,000 views. I'm like, you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Does that play on your mind at all a little bit?
Does.
Yeah. And do you try and make it outside noise that you don't like let it get in the way of stuff? Or
I try.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It is hard because, I got my initial thing off TikTok.
Yeah.
And I'm building other areas, like I'm starting to do the live.
Yeah.
And become, a solidified artist. But TikTok is how it all started. So now that that's been taken away a little, the crazy views, it's a bit disheartening.
Yeah.
And I kind of find myself like chasing that high almost.
Yeah.
Which can be motivating, but it can also be a bit crushing because I'm like, fuck, like what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
And you can base your like self kind of worth on how well your views are doing, which sucks. Like
I've seen a few things on your TikTok that I've sort of picked up. So influencers growing up, Jeff Buckley, I did see had something about that, and obviously Bob Dylan also shaped your music a little bit. Do you want to talk to us about them sort of shaping your music and like sort of why they were such a big role model growing up for you?
Yeah, I think so. My dad showed me the Grace album.
Yep.
By Jeff Buckley.
Yeah.
And that album, I just fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool because when you like, what genre is Grace, it's like kind of a bit soft rock, a bit ballady, but it's kind of, it's its own thing.
Yep.
And I think that is beautiful to me because, obviously I'm doing the country thing, but you listen to my music, it's not like, okay, this is on the nose country, and I think...
Not yeehaw.
Yeah, it's not like honky tonk, and whilst I still have love for that stuff, that's just not me.
Yeah.
I'm not like a full fucking true blue.
Yep.
And so... I like the idea that he just was himself, and people can call it what they want, and I'll play on any bill. Like I'd love this scene, and I'm grateful for this scene.
Yeah,
but I don't exactly want to box in either.
Yeah, and
I think it's cool that he did the same thing.
Yeah,
and then obviously Bob Dylan, like people back in the day were like, "Is Bob Dylan country? Is Bob Dylan folk? Like,
what is he?"
And I just think that's cool. I think that's a true rock star is someone who just makes music.
Yeah. And I think the folk and the country scene over the last, say, 10 years has really come together. There's a lot of folk country now.
Overlaps.
Like it really overlaps that era. So you can be folk and you can be country.
Yes.
Like Austin McKay, one of my great mates, he's been on this podcast as well. He was the same. He was folk, but then he's rolled into the country and folk, but he's really kept that folk because that's who he is and that's what he loves. Yeah. But he's in the country scene, sort of same thing as you.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the way to do it now because you got so much like diversity and taste.
Yeah.
And especially with like the rise of like trap and modern hip hop.
Yeah,
then
definitely.
You got like even, Bailey Zimmerman just did a song with Big X the Plug.
Yeah.
Like everything is kind of
Look at Jelly Roll, the whole
Jelly Roll. Like,
Post Malone.
Everything's kind of starting to blend, and I think that's just that's the times we're in.
Yeah, and you look at it like pop back in the day was the hottest thing, so everyone was on pop, and it was like let's do pop and all that sort of stuff. now country is honestly the hottest thing. I think I had a stat the other day on the podcast, which was ticket sales since 2019 have gone up 740% to country music.
And I mean, all the biggest tours like breaking records of people like Morgan Wallen, Luke Combs, like that.
Have a look at Luke Combs' tour in Australia, the stadium tour. Huge. Like that was huge. That's the biggest country stadium tour Australia's ever seen, and it's set the precedence now for what's to come.
Yeah, I mean, even Zach Bryan is like, it's insane.